Our neuromuscular system is essential to any motor activity, allowing us to stand up, run, and even chew. Neuromuscular disorders disrupt this process. They impair the function of the muscles by affecting the nerves that control them, therefore breaking down the nexus between the brain and the muscles. Over time, people who suffer from neuromuscular disorders experience muscle atrophy, which is when the muscles waste away due to lack of movement. Ultimately, their quality of life can be significantly affected. So, what can nanotechnology-enabled wearables do to help these patients? Let's find out. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Crosstalks, a podcast series by the UT Austin Portugal Program that walk you through the wonders of science-business collaboration. We'll be exploring emerging topics in the areas of advanced computing, medical physics, nanotechnologies, space-earth interactions, and technology innovation and entrepreneurship as we delve into the program's groundbreaking industry-driven research projects. Today, we're going exploring the great, wonderful world of nano, this time around by looking at its impact on medicine, and in particular on neuromuscular rehabilitation. Neuromuscular disorders encompass a wide range of diseases with varying degrees of severity, affecting people of all ages, from newborns to children and adults. While in lighter forms, patients have difficulty standing or exercising, in severe ones, such disorders can lead to complete paralysis, breathing difficulties, premature death, or lifelong disability. Indeed, in many cases, we talk of chronic, progressive, and highly debilitating conditions that significantly compromise patients' autonomy and that call for continuous, specialized healthcare monitoring and support, therefore representing a heavy social and economic burden. The use of wearables to assist neuromuscular patients has shown positive rehabilitation outcomes. Wearables are smart devices designed to be worn non-invasively by users, allowing the acquisition, processing, and sharing of data. Such devices are set to revolutionize healthcare with its applicability in connected care technology, supporting a wide variety of medical functions and, most importantly, contributing to saving lives. Nanotechnology has been at the forefront of many wearable devices advancements. Firstly, because the evolution of these devices into integrated technology requires a miniaturization, without jeopardizing their functional capabilities. Secondly, since wearables should conform to the user, they need to be more stretchable and therefore stronger and more resistant. Working at the nanoscale, these and other important properties, such as high electrical conductivity, can be fabricated and even enhanced. The UT Austin Portugal NanoStim project is a 3-year research project bridging business, academic, research, and healthcare organizations in Portugal and UT Austin. The Transatlantic Consortium is developing an innovative muscular treatment system based on a wearable device integrating nanoelectrodes to detect muscle dysfunction and provide sustained electrical stimulation to treat it. Ultimately, NanoStim will be a patient-centered medical solution that will increase patients' freedom and comfort, and therefore decrease the load on healthcare centers. I am Shalabib, and today our guests are Alfredo Silva, Senior Consultant at IncreaseTime, Cláudia Lopes, researcher at the Center of Physics of the Universities of Minho and Porto, and Nélson Azevedo, physiotherapist and physiotherapy professor at the Instituto Superior de Saúde. They will tell us all about this innovative project, so stay tuned! Welcome, Alfredo, Cláudia, and Nélson, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation to participate in this podcast. So, I've tried to give our listeners an overview of what neuromuscular diseases are, but Nélson, can you please go deeper to explain how broad and heterogeneous this group of diseases is, how limiting they can be for patients, and the magnitude of the problem, both socially and economically?
Hello, Shayla, Cláudia, and Alfredo. Well, the term of neuromuscular disease applies to a very wide universe of different pathologies already identify and encompass muscle disease like myopathies, nerve disease, neuropathies, disease of anterior horn of spinal cord, and disorders of neuromuscular joints like myasthenia, among others. They are genetic, hereditary, and progressive disease, and all have in common the lack of muscular strength requiring patients and who have been diagnosed, um, support and or technical help like electric chairs, wheelchairs, or walking frames for their locomotion, computer for writing, hairdress, various handless aids, adapted transport vehicles, whatever. One of the main problems is like lung problems and heart are often affect, causing lack of breathing and heart difficulties. Muscle weakness also affects all the spine and all the support. And one of the problems that are associated with lack of muscle strength is like a scoliosis of the entire spine is affected, and this lack of support affects all the spine too. Normally, we need a surgery, correction surgery for that cases. And this for the lowest extremities, some tendons are often affected too. So there needs some surgeries to correct these deformities and have a total support for this kind of intervention. This disease doesn't have cure for the moment. However, these problems that patients have needs a multidisciplinary team for that their care, like neuropediatrics, orthopedics, neurologists, physiotherapists, and psychologists, and cardiologists and respiratory profession for that support, and with the hospital centers working together for that global assessment. Then there are some study, a comprehensive overview of literature carried by Joan, Dina, and colleagues in 2015, found that most neuromuscular disease show a prevalence rate is between 1 and 10 for 100,000 population, except one neuropathy, Lambert-Eaton myasthenia syndrome, that had less than 1 in 2,000, 100,000 people. In Portugal, in our specific country, with 10 million inhabitants, and according with international statistic data, there are more than 500 affected patients distributed for different pathologies. This kind of diseases doesn't have any cure, but we have the improvements now are better than 10 years or 20 years ago. And one of this condition, this neuromuscular disease, are one of the main causes of the muscle atrophy in these more serious clinical conditions. One of the big problem that we want to solve with the NanoStim. However, they are not the only causes of muscle atrophy, and disuse, like especially in the older ages, become an extremely important factor for the manifestation of the muscle atrophy, with implications in the whole musculoskeletal system. And the motor disability is one of the most serious conditions that affect the elderly, and there are large impact and social and monetary costs also. It's a clear, huge problem that you want to solve with NanoStim solutions.
Thank you, Nélson. So, we have seen that many of these disorders are chronic, progressive, and highly debilitating, and that they put a lot of strain on formal and informal healthcare. So, how can scientific research help improve healthcare approaches to these conditions? In particular, Claudia, can you elaborate on how important is the intersection of nano with wearable technologies to move towards a patient centered approach?
I will try, Sheila. I will try. So I will start by what is actually doing in conventional physical medicine. So in conventional physical medicine, like I was saying, the muscle fibers electrical activity is measured with a pair of silver chloride electrodes placed on the skin. This method is known as surface electromyography and can only be carried out in hospital centers. So these electrodes, the silver chloride electrodes that are the golden standard in physical medicine, are very interesting since they offer excellent signal quality for brief recordings at low costs, but they have significant drawbacks. They are wet, and this is the major of them. So to acquire reliable measurements, it is necessary to apply a conductive gel. This gel, the main role of this gel is to reduce the interfacial impedance between the electrode and the skin. And that can only be done by trained professionals in healthcare centers, which is very restrictive by itself. Besides, they present several other drawbacks as the longevity and the measurement times, that is very short, sorry. And they are often reported frequent allergical contact, dermatitis, and comfort issues regarding the use of these electrodes. And there is another problem, that is when these electrodes are used in small areas, these areas could be so small that smearing of the electrolyte could occur. And that increases the probability of short-circuiting and burnings on the patient's skin, and we want to avoid it. So to overcome these drawbacks, NanoStim project offers a combined EMG diagnosis and electrical stimulation solution by integrating a high-performance system of dry and flexible nanosensors based on thin films with custom nanostructures into clothes, making possible to be used for long periods, multiple times, everywhere. So to prepare these sensors and actuators, because we want to sense the activity of the muscle, but we also want to actuate on them, we use fabrics or soft and flexible polymeric substrates. The polymeric substrates and textiles are cheap and accessible materials, that can be easily integrated into a wearable, and this is very nice. For instance, actually, we are developing experiments on cellulose biopolymeric bases to be integrated in lyocell fabrics. Both are primarily composed of cellulose derived from wood. And this, we are speaking about biodegradable materials. That is very nice. And we are, in fact, having very promising results. So, despite the properties very nice exhibited by polymers and fabrics that are very interesting, they are non-conducting materials and they cannot acquire an electrical signal, a biosignal that is an electrical signal. So we functionalize these surfaces using a biocompatible titanium-based thin film prepared with a technique that is magnetron-sputtering, a physical vapor deposition technique that is eco-friendly. So when I speak in thin films, I'm speaking in something that is really thin. And we are speaking in tens to hundreds of nanometers To better understand this scale, this nanoscale, I could say that 1 nanometer is 1,000 million smaller than a meter. And this is extremely small. So compare 1 nanometer to the diameter of a tennis ball would be like comparing the diameter of a soccer ball to the diameter of the Earth. It's really small. So by using this technique, this vacuum conditions, we eject titanium atoms from a target, and using several elastic and inelastic physical collisions, and after sputtering these atoms, they are specifically placed on the substrate, atom by atom, creating nucleation sites, to grow. And at this level, nano level, it's possible to completely modify the properties of the sensor, because we are working with atoms. So we can change the final properties of the film by changing the chemical composition. For instance, we can combine the titanium atoms with other metals like silver or copper that have outstanding electrical and mechanical behaviors, or we can change the morphology of the film. We can change the way how the film grows. It can grow by columns, it can grow by spirals, by zigzag springs, and that will completely change the electromechanical behavior of the film in the sensor. So the wide range of films that we can prepare enhance the sensitivity of the for the EMG signals that we want to acquire, that are very weak signals. And at the same time, we are working in different thin films to send electrical stimulus. Now, the films need to play a different role. They are not receiving anymore an information, but they need to send an electrical message to the muscle. And so it's very important to control these both aspects, the films that will acquire one information and the films that will send another one.
Thank you, Cláudia. So the project's vision is that NanoStim is more than a wearable device. It is an integrated system that will allow targeted and personalized rehabilitation services. Nélson, you had already mentioned that there is no cure for neuromuscular disorders, but that there are treatments available that may improve patients' symptoms. So, considering the currently available rehabilitation solutions, where does NanoStim's innovativeness really lie, Nélson?
The NanoStim is so it's a part that we want to create a patient-centered technology, and we want to see it at global perspective and all this specific issue that is the muscle atrophy of our patients. So we want to see an integrated solution that we can combine all these possibilities that Cláudia said that with the thin films, and in this all the relationship with the materials and artificial intelligence. So we want now to conduct this rehabilitation to another level. So with this possibility of this all the technology available, we want to give some a new solution with this NanoStim, and to create this possibility that is to try to adopt this atrophy, reduce or stop this atrophy that is one of the main causes of a lot of problems like falling risk, that osteoporosis or other problems that is associated with elder people. And with this NanoStim and this possibility to revert this process of the lack of muscle or lack of strength in the mobility of the neuromuscular disease, or even one normal patient that is the problem of the age and the older age. So it's our main goal is to stop this problem, silence problem, more evident, and when we see this problem happened, but it's a silence problem that we have to stop this silence evolution.
Thank you, Nélson. Cláudia, would you like to add anything?
I would like to say that we have a multidisciplinary team working on this. I think that it's important to, for sure, that Alfredo will complete my information. But yes, we have a very multidisciplinary team working on this. We become from different fields of expertise. We are, for instance, University of Minho is working on the development of these nanosensors, but we have all the help of the Polytechnic Institute of Bragança that is working in the electronic connections and in the AI that is assisted by the University of Austin. We have two groups in Austin working with us, closely working with us, the Nanoscale Design and Manufacturing Laboratory, and also the PEDAS group that is from the Institute of Computational Engineering and Science. And we also have a company that it's a leading company in innovation in wearables, and it's working with us to develop this wearable. We have Nélson, that is our physiotherapist, that assists us and is always explaining us what we need. So we also have a company that is T&M that works on the field of surface engineering, and will transpose the know-how acquired in this project to commercial solutions. And we have IncreaseTime, that it's a company focused on offering solutions and promote quality of life and well-being. So we really want to have a person-centered solution. We want to give the best treatment for the needs to each person. These treatments will be focused on the problems of each individual and not a generalized treatment. Yeah.
Thank you, Cláudia. So since wearables collect substantial personal information, including highly sensitive health-related data shared with healthcare professionals and institutions for continuous and real-time monitoring, there are legitimate concerns about how they address data security and data privacy requirements. So, Alfredo, what is the solution you have found to ensure that the data generated by using your wearable device conforms to the best privacy and confidentiality practices?
Well, for us, the privacy is extremely important. Of course, not only from a moral standpoint, but of course also in regards of certification of what we're trying to do. So we have built the idea of privacy at every level of our solution. It starts on the development of the artificial intelligence programs that will analyze the treatment and suggest a treatment plan. These have to be trained, and the data that we are extracting from patients to train these algorithms is anonymized. So on the first level, they receive data that there's no information regarding who that medical information came from, only the data itself and some vague considerations regarding the age group of the person that was the source of the data. So at that level, we already guaranteed privacy. Then in the second level, we have developed the system that when the user is using the system, that data goes to a database online. We took several measures, like, for example, the communication between the system and the online server is encrypted. The online server itself is divided. We have the database on one side, we have the business logic and the server on the other, and the server does not know the information about the person. There's a, let's say, what we call it in computer engineering, a token that is exchanged, meaning there's a separation, and one part does not know the identification of the other, only the data. So at that level of usage, the information is also protected. Again, as the system collects information on its users, only the users have access to it by via password and the medical officers that they gave it explicit permission to. Finally, the data that we collect during the usage of the tool is then used to further optimize the artificial intelligence algorithms. And at this step, this data is again anonymized. So the server does not know who the data belongs to, only the database knows, and there's a token exchange. And once that data is required to be accessed not by the medical officer nor by the user, but by the artificial intelligence algorithms, it's further anonymized. So the system does not have a way to know who came from. So as I mentioned, at every step, the privacy of the data is ensured. And we have developed the entire system based on the idea that privacy is extremely important, and we do the best to protect the privacy and medical data of all the users.
Thank you, Alfredo. Privacy is indeed extremely important. We are very happy to know that's been a priority at the NanoStim project. So what is the consortium's envisioned roadmap to bring NanoStim to the market? Are there any significant barriers to overcome in NanoStim's commercialization and adoption by healthcare institutions, professionals, and patients? Or are we talking about a relatively straightforward process, Alfredo?
Well, the road for commercialization is always complicated with medical devices. Probably Nélson can speak better than me about this, but we at IncreaseTime have a long experience developing solutions, health solutions, and of course, there's always some resistance to new unproven solutions. So our main concern regarding commercialization is to prove to the future users, be them medical professionals or end users, that the system is safe, that the system is effective, that the system is affordable, and can offer a better solution than the ones that already exist in the market. This is something that is, let's say, more complicated than it looks like. That's why our first step towards this future commercialization is to first and foremost guarantee the quality of the product, which is why we are doing extensive development and testing. Secondly, to validate all our assumptions during a pilot phase that will come later, so that we can show that to the potential users that the system is validated and operational. And once we have that, we're going to use our contacts, because like I mentioned, IncreaseTime has a lot of contacts in the health area, and of course several of our consortium members also have them. And after we have a product that is stable, it has a high TRL. That's a technological level, and we have proven through a pilot that it works and is effective. We intend to show it to various potential partners. The road to commercialization after that, there are several open options at this point. Our preferred option would be to have someone like, say, IncreaseTime, or maybe some partner, even though I think IncreaseTime probably fits better, to commercialize the system and then have all the partners be licensees. Alternatively, you can also create a separate joint venture organization just to explore the product commercially. This is not is something we're still discussing in the consortium, so it's not completely set on stone at this point. But those are two main options. But we believe that once the pilot is done, when we have a solution that is proven, we will have will have some facility in contacting the potential interested people and show them the solution. And we believe for our estimations that we'll be able to acquire a reasonable large number of potential clients.
Thank you, Alfredo. That is very interesting. Nélson, would you like to add anything or?
Yeah, for me, like a health professional, I need the solution for my patients. So it's very important to me. I have this kind of solution that I don't know really if there is some solution like this in market. But for my practice, my clinical practice, this is a very important gain for for time rotation and the possibilities we have with this kind of disposal.
Thank you, Nélson. So we're almost nearing the end of our conversation, but I'd like to ask you this final question. Like Cláudia said, NanoStim builds on different scientific fields. We have nanoscience, artificial intelligence, biomechanical engineering, and causal academics, technology developers, business people, and healthcare professionals work side by side. So what's been like working with such a diverse team? What does it take to not get lost in translation, Alfredo? And then I'd like to also hear the words of Cláudia and Nélson, please.
Well, that's a problem. It's actually not a problem, but it's a challenge that happens every time we start one of these projects, because let's be realistic. Today, developing solutions, particularly in the medical area, it's complex. It requires a lot of people with very different skill sets. So with those skill sets and backgrounds also comes these different expectations. And it's always a challenge to balance everything, because of course there's on one hand companies like us that have an interest in commercialization and in bringing the product to the market as soon as possible. There are other companies like there are other organizations like universities that have a more, let's say, research oriented objective. And of course there's also end user organizations that have their own specific agendas. So the first question, the answer to our question is that understanding the interests of each party and balancing them and achieving some type of compromise is the first challenge. It's something that usually happens right at the start of the project with meetings and understanding what each partner wants. Once this is achieved, we start to create a relationship, work relationship through meetings, to exchange of ideas, to discussion of points, and over time, a natural balance usually comes forth. We work with several people. When the people have a common interest in bringing this project together, they usually work very well, and a relationship naturally arises over time. And I'm very fortunate to say that in this consortium, this happened almost immediately. So I'm very fortunate to work with these people.
Thank you. Nélson, Cláudia, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I would like to say that I agree completely with Alfredo. We learn a lot from each other. It's amazing how we build a good relation, and all of us are motivated doing this. So we want to learn, we want to do more, we want to solve the problems of the others. And we are having very nice results because all of us are really working with the heart in this project.
Thank you. Nélson?
Yes, I agree with Cláudia and Alfredo. This is an incredible experience, an amazing experience working with this group. So a lot of talented people that in their field of expertise, and it's very rewarding to learn with this whole group. And it's very challenging, like said Alfredo and Cláudia. And working with multidisciplinary teams and with different areas open us our horizons and our fields of vision, and my perspective in particular gains another dimension. So it's a great privilege to be part of such an amazing group. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Alfredo, Cláudia, and Nélson. It was very nice to talk to you and to learn more about the NanoStim project, and we hope that it comes to life very, very soon. and we can't wait to hear more updates about your project.
Also, and thank you, Sheila, for this opportunity to demonstrate our project. It's very important for us to reach the people, to show them how it works. So really appreciate the opportunity you have given us.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of Crosstalks. If you have enjoyed it, and even if you didn't, we'd love to hear from you. So make sure to subscribe and leave a review. For additional content, follow us at UT Portugal on Twitter or visit utaustinportugal.org. The NanoStim Project Consortium brings together academic, research, business and healthcare partners in Portugal and at UT Austin. IncreaseTime, the University of Minho, the Polytechnic Institute of Bragança, Impetus Portugal, TNM, Nélson Azevedo Terapias Globais, the Cochrane School of Engineering, and the Oden Institute for Computational Engineering and Sciences. The NanoStim project is co-financed by the European Regional Development Fund through Portugal 2020 and the Regional Operational Programs North 2020 and Centro 2020, and by the Portuguese Foundation for Science and Technology under UT Austin Portugal. The total eligible investment is over 2 million euros with a public funding of over 1.7 million euros. The UT Austin Portugal Program is a partnership program in science and technology between the Portuguese Foundation for Science and Technology and the University of Texas at Austin, supported by the Ministry of Science, Technology and Higher Education in close collaboration with the Council of Rectors of Portuguese Universities.